artistic. Weirdly artistic.
Damn, that's weird. We're back with Nick, Jay, and Jose.
It's weirdly artistic. We're talking art.
We're talking weird and everything under the sun.
Weirdly artistic.
Damn, that's weird.
Weirdly artistic.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Weirdly Artistic. Weirdly Artistic, episode 23. I am Jose.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Sarah.
So as you guys can tell, we don't have Jordan today, but we do have two very special guests with us, Jesse and Sarah. And welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you for
stoked.
coming on.
Yeah.
Weirdly artistic.
With an R. With an R.
So there's a joke that when we first recorded our intro song, we did not say autistic, but it sounded like autistic once
Well,
it
we
was.
were singing like artsy, so it was like.
So it sounded like weirdly autistic, and we were just talking about it before the episode started, and it was
So
still
it's
in my
slipped.
mind. But it's
It's
weirdly
slipped.
artistic.
Yeah,
My
we're
bad,
artists
everybody.
here. We are artists.
But welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
for being
thanks so
on the
much.
show.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Sarah can go
You
first.
want me to go first? All right. Well, I am an elopement and couples photographer. I've been doing this since I first picked up a camera in 2010, probably, but started my business in 2014.
Heck yeah.
And I've done just about everything in the photography industry and settled on elopements because turns out I hate big weddings.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Not me,
Oh.
unfortunately. Mine's almost opposite of that. I've only been doing this for almost 4 years. So I'm a little bit newer, but I've also kind of done everything and tried everything. And I hate elopements. And
There you
weddings
go.
are my jam. Big weddings are my jam. I love the chaos of it. That's kind of what's fun for me. And like the hustle and bustle. I like slowing down for elopements is really hard for me. So not
Okay,
my
so
thing.
like, is it the chaos and the big thing that you don't like about big weddings for you, Sarah?
A little bit, but it's more about the like mindset for me behind big weddings versus elopements. I've realized like,
The intimacy.
yeah, and
Okay.
like seeing so many couples over the years who like by the time they get to their wedding, they're miserable
Right.
because they've spent
Besides
so
us.
much money. They're so stressed out. They're not
All the
enjoying
planning.
themselves. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not right. Like, this
Let's-
is not how this should be.
When we say stress, by the way, it's not the groom because I've not
Well,
really ever
usually
seen a
no.
stressed
Yeah.
groom.
Almost never.
The groom is almost always just like chill as a cucumber.
So where am I
Yeah,
supposed to
exactly.
be?
You're like,
Right.
just
When
tell
do I
me
show
what I
up?
need to be wearing. I'm good.
Yeah.
What am I wearing? And I feel like, at least with the clients I've had, I'm very thankful for having such incredible clients through kind of all of my wedding seasons. But I feel like they've been the most chill, like laid back people, having the best day. They just want to like be with all of the people that they love. And so definitely there will be moments that I'm going to have like a crazy stressed out bride and she's going to be a pain in the butt. And it's
You
going
can
to make my
swear on
job
this if
hard.
you want.
Okay,
Oh,
fantastic.
nice. Good
Now
to
I
know.
know.
Yeah.
She's going to be a pain in the ass. And it's going to be hard for me for sure. But I've just been so lucky with having really chill,
I
awesome
think
clients.
the worst I've run into is the moms. I think
Yes.
moms for me.
I've
are
heard some
like-
stories. I haven't really done too many weddings. Like I've done one by myself, and I have another one coming up with Nick on Sunday. But
Yeah.
like I've heard some stories that like brides and moms specifically, can be a handful.
Typically, the brides are stressed because of the mom, and
Yeah.
then it's just like this perpetual loop of stress.
I've had more momzillas than
Yeah.
bridezillas. I just,
Well,
that's not a
it's-
word I've used.
They're almost
so
living
much stress.
vicariously through their like
Yeah,
daughter, right?
absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
it's like, well,
100%.
my wedding wasn't perfect. I need
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of that. And that's as sad as it is that if this daughter didn't want to have this big wedding, her mom's kind of forcing it on her. So she's like, I'm laying back, I'm chilling because this is my mom's thing. So she's always like, the bride's always
Chill.
chill. The
It's almost
mom's always
dads
a little bit
forcing
crazy.
sports on their kids
Yeah,
and moms
totally.
forcing
Same
like weddings on
You
their
will
daughters.
wear a ball gown. It will be pink. And you will love it. That's how it's been.
I won't lie, I will be that dad. You
The
will
sport
play
dad?
sport.
You're
You will love
forcing
it.
soccer.
I'm that mom.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
already
forcing
soccer.
soccer.
My daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling
She's
you,
not
bro.
even two.
Yeah.
I'm fathering a whole team.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, you guys are so in sync. Well, they're all my kids.
There's a reason for that.
Fantastic. I love it.
Oh, that's great.
So,
oh,
you go.
okay. I was
First
going to ask,
question.
like, what made you guys get started? Like you said, you in 2010 you got your hands on a first camera. Like what got you guys into wanting to get your hands on a camera in the first place?
Before you hop into that, what was your camera?
Well, funny story. I started my business with a borrowed camera.
Hey,
Nice.
And it was a Nikon D90.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an old camera.
That's saying a lot because Nick knows everything.
I know a lot
No,
of
it's
cameras.
funny. Like we'll be editing and he'll look at a picture and then he'll be like, "Oh, I know exactly what they're using."
Yeah.
I was editing this video that this guy had shot for us, or not for us, for another company. And they're like, "Hey, can you put something together for this?" And then I saw that the end coding was Sony. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw him use his internal filter. And I was like, oh my gosh, the FX7 is the only one with the
No,
internal
that's,
filter.
that blew my mind. I'm
And
like,
so
how do you
then-
know that like exact model?
And then I
like-
just told Da Vinci, I was like, hey, this is an FX7. I need it to match Blackmagic. And then and did it.
I would never have any clue. But
I am not a gearhead
No.
at all.
Nick is.
A little bit.
Yeah,
Nick
we've
is.
noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to how you got in.
Yeah, I actually I was one of those people who didn't have a direction at all when I graduated from high school, and I was just working random jobs, and I kind of liked photography because I took it in high school, you know. But what happened is one of my friends graduated from high school and was like, hey, I don't really want to pay for senior pictures. Will you take mine? And I was like, yeah, why not? Let me borrow a camera and we'll make it happen. So I did. And from there, a couple of my other friends asked me, and it just kind of
Snowballed
spiraled
into
a
it.
little bit.
the
And
ball rolling.
next thing you know, people are wanting to pay me. And I'm like, okay, I literally was editing on PicMonkey
I don't
on my
even know
web
what that is.
browser.
Exactly.
Literally, I'm
is that?
old. I'm
Yeah.
34. So I'm,
You're only 5 years older than me. So it's
but that's
yeah.
half a decade, you know. A lot
I
can
mean, if
happen
you
in
put it
5
that
years,
way,
Right,
yeah.
technology wise, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
always thought 5 years is not that much, but when you say half a decade, okay, it makes it seem a little more.
especially with how
Right.
fast technology moves and
Yeah.
stuff, you know. But yeah, so I started off with seniors, eventually got into weddings, and I just didn't have a clue what I was doing. And there was not the resources that there are now.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
talking about it like it was 40 years ago, but
Well, I mean, it was a lot of trial and
tech-wise,
error.
But tech-wise,
tech-wise, social media networking wise,
Right.
that
Yeah.
just wasn't really a thing. I started a Facebook group
Do you have a
back
card?
then. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
There was
Still.
no
Yeah.
resources.
Here's 30.
Yeah.
That's all
and,
you got.
And free
Literally.
education that there is now, none of that existed.
No.
So
Your
it was
YouTube
rough.
degree?
It was a rough go, but
Yeah.
Just a lot of trial and error.
a lot of
That's
trial
really-
and error, and yeah, but that's kind of how I got started. It was an accident, really.
I think that editors that come, or shooters or editors that come from the 2010s, nothing against you just
right.
getting started. I
Yeah.
think that you do know the manual ways to do things,
Yeah, yeah.
but a lot
It's
of
different.
photographers and editors nowadays are so reliant on the tools that are right up front. And so when something goes wrong, they don't know how to jump back and
Yeah.
do it
Right.
manually. And I notice it so much. It's oh my gosh.
And that's one
To
thing
the
I
casual
appreciate
eye.
is that you've taught me to do the manual side. So
I
that
gave you no tools. I said, here's the manual way to do things.
No, that's it's helped
Figure
a
it
lot.
out.
Where it's
No.
you
That's
okay,
important.
don't use learn the manual side. So
Yeah.
when stuff does go wrong with technology and AI and everything, you know how to fix it and solve it.
Totally.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that like you said is
You
not
will-
taught anymore. And I
No.
think it should be still the fundamentals with anything.
You will crash so hard if you don't know how to fix it manually.
Right,
Totally.
Totally.
Like with any skill, fundamentals are the foundation of the skill
Right,
itself.
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
1000%.
It's in the word. Mentals. It's an obvious joke.
Fun.
There it is.
Fun. Mentals.
Mentals.
I love it here.
How'd you get started, Jesse?
So not similar really at all in the sense of people asking me. It was more of a creative outlet. I have never been a person with hobbies. My husband has 1 million hobbies. He loves to fish.
Same.
He's a backpacker. He does all this stuff. He's crafty as hell, which is super random for him, but he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
crafts or
Yeah,
DIY?
A little bit of
book
both.
scrapping and
No, not necessarily. But I don't
the
know
first
how
thing
to
I
use our
think of when
Cricut.
someone says
Crafting.
crafts. I'm like, he's
You know, with the glue stick and the double-sided tape.
He's got Elmer's
He's book
glue,
scrapping.
literally. But a Cricut machine that cuts
Let's
stuff
go.
out. He
Okay.
knows how
What?
to use that. I don't. Beats
It's actually
me.
pretty simple.
Yeah, no idea. I look at it
Upload
and
the
my brain
PNG,
explodes.
Put
No,
it in the format. and
couldn't
hit
tell you.
print.
he does all that
Yeah,
for me,
well,
which
there
is
you
great. But he like is remodeling our house and like doing all this stuff. So he has all these outlets that he has used, and like I never really had one. Like after high school, once I was done with sports, it was kind of similar to what Sarah said, kind of no like path, no outlet really. I didn't go to college. That wasn't a thing I wanted to do. So yeah, right. Thankfully.
For real.
Thankfully I made that decision. But yeah, this was kind of like a few friends of mine were doing photography at the time. And I was like, hey, I want to borrow your camera. I want to see if I like this. And I mean, growing up, I always had a little digital camera. Like my mom has pictures of me at like 10 years old taking pictures of like our flowers in our backyard. And then I went and turned them into like greeting cards and like tried to
that's
sell them
awesome.
to her
Ooh,
friends. And,
yeah,
like,
that's awesome. Yeah.
Baby entrepreneur.
Love that.
But
Imagine
yeah,
if you stuck with it since then, right?
the business I could
I
have
think
had.
about all the time. I'm like, damn, you're an idiot.
I wish I would have done that for
I
sure.
wish I
bought
wasn't
a house
messing
when I
around
was
in
in
third grade.
Right. Damn. But yeah, so it was definitely like started out as a creative outlet, and then COVID kind of hit, and I started taking people just for fun and having like family and friends model for me, and started an Instagram, and it kind of just took off from there. And I mean, this is technically my first like full wedding season as a full-time photographer.
Okay.
And I had 36 weddings booked this year. And
That's a
so
lot.
it kind of blew up. And I think timing wise was really great after like, it's kind of the wedding boom right now after COVID and people pushing
Yeah.
their weddings. And it's still that rollover of people wanting to get married and like having had pushed their wedding off. So it kind of worked out really well. I just kind of jumped into weddings. I figured out quickly that I didn't really love elopements. I did a couple. I've done some with Sarah. If I'm with Sarah, it's great because I just get to hang out.
I feel like you two second shoot for each other
Yes.
because
Literally.
you can
Yeah.
handle each other's things.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like Sarah obviously has all the experience with big weddings. She is my go-to second shooter. She comes with me to most of my weddings. She's coming with me tomorrow. And then if there's times where she wants me to come with her to an elopement, I make it work if I can, and
Yeah.
it works perfectly. So, exactly. So yeah, just kind of, and like she said, an accidental thing that turned into a business, and it was supposed to be a creative outlet, and now it's my job.
But you
So-
love it, right?
Oh, so much. I
I feel
love
like
it
that's
so much.
honestly like one of the best ways to like have it done. Is
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Like a hobby becoming like
Right.
work.
Totally.
And it turned into work at perfect timing. Like we got married, and then pretty soon after I got pregnant with our daughter, and it worked out that I can be home with her now. So I'm home with her all week, and then weekends and weeknights I shoot and edit, and
And she's with dad.
and then dad takes over on the weekends, and it's great.
Yeah,
So it works
that's
out well.
nice.
Yeah.
Kind of perfect.
I think
Yeah.
the coolest thing is like our job is our hobbies as well as our passion.
Yeah.
Which is like, how many people get that?
Yeah.
you
Not
know?
very much.
Not
So
a lot.
For sure.
it's definitely a
Well,
really
you were
cool
telling
thing.
me about Helena, your how like Mac and everyone was
Oh,
showing
yeah.
her like what we did yesterday. And it was
So
like this
she
is what
works corporate America.
Right,
She's
yeah,
an F5 Seattle, like big ass
Yeah.
corporation, and I don't understand it. She tells me things, and I'm like, but I guess so. 3 people she works with are friends that I've known forever that work
Okay,
at the
cool.
same company, and they all saw our story yesterday of us like walking on the green screen with
Yeah.
the
We
treadmill.
we were just
doing-
messing
Yeah,
around,
I
just
saw
like,
that.
just being
like
dickheads. And then Helena, her boss, comes up to her and she's like, "What the hell is your husband doing?" And she goes, "This is a tough creative day for him, okay? Like, he is working."
This is his job.
and it's
She
us
stands
just
up
like
for us.
fucking around.
We're like
Yeah.
dancing on a treadmill, like doing all this
as
stuff.
you should.
Yeah, yeah.
it was a
What
hard
else?
day, okay?
It was. It pushed us.
Yeah, that was
I
my
was actually
cardio.
sweating. Yeah,
My exercise
It was
today.
it was rough.
yeah, it was. But it's just funny, like we get to do what we enjoy every single
It,
time.
like I
which is
said, bro,
so
it's
nice.
it's fun. Like doing this podcast is like a
Yeah.
great creative outlet for me.
Oh yeah.
Like it's
a
just so fun.
release.
Like it's a great release, and like having your hobby be your job is so fun.
Right.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
What was the next question? I can't remember. I sent them to you guys.
I
don't
could pull it
remember
up on
I'll
my
pull it
phone.
up. I'll pull it up.
Okay.
I've been the
Well,
phone
I
guy.
can interview myself.
Right. We can ask us our own
What's
questions.
been one of your favorite accomplishments? Or like what's your greatest accomplishment as a photographer, as
That's a
an
good
entrepreneur?
Do you need to think?
Yeah.
For me, honestly, is being as booked out as I am, like early.
Well, you
on
said
in
yeah,
my
this is your
Weddings
first.
is huge.
36 is a lot.
Yeah, and this is
That's-
like my first real full time. Like I was still working another job last year, and so I finally
Wow.
was like, I
I'm done.
don't want to, and so I'm not going to. And if
Yeah.
I book, great. If I don't, oh well, we'll figure it out. And so it was kind of a good jumping point for me, and it obviously worked out, and so very proud of that.
I think the
That's a
hardest
lot.
thing for you guys is you guys are like natural shooters. You know,
Yeah.
you're the outdoorsy,
Mm-hmm.
you're the
Yeah.
very natural light based. Like we're very studio based.
Yeah.
We're the
Totally.
exact
Yeah.
opposite. So we can shoot year round.
Yeah.
It's like we book year round. You guys are so natural. So 36 weddings. It's like, wait, there's only 12 weekends in the summer. And it's like,
Yeah, so you're like 3-4 weekends a weekend.
She
Yeah.
booked
Literally.
some triple headers, and I was like,
Oh,
"You're
yeah.
insane."
And I am insane, and I regret it absolutely.
Yeah.
Not doing that again. But
it's your first year. You're learning. You're learning.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
figuring it out, and I was like, yeah, I could do that. No,
no.
regret.
Well, if you need
Immediate regret.
photos cold, we have interns. So.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'll be
let us
contacting
know.
you.
Love that.
Yeah. If you need
I will
some
reach out.
calling, we have interns.
See, I don't. I like do that all
Minimum wage.
manually still. Like I have
Minimum.
zero. Right? I have zero things outsourced. Like when
Yeah.
it comes to like the
Get them
production of my work.
outsourced.
Right.
You know how much time we save?
I see. I know, and
It
like
costs you like $75.
yeah, I probably need to.
And I know your fee
Especially-
is up there. Like,
Yeah, I'm
you don't have to
making
mention
decent
anything,
money,
but yeah.
but
Yeah.
so it wouldn't be a big deal.
I know what we charge, so I know what you charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a little bit of a control freak when it comes to like if there was another human culling my photos, I'd be cool with it. But I don't like the automated culling.
No, no, no,
situation
no,
they
no. We're
start.
talking-
it's
Those
We
well, it's
pay an
yeah.
AI.
it does a
Literally.
decent job, but it's not perfect. Like
Right.
it's not. It doesn't have the human eye of like, oh, that's a good one. That's
Right.
not.
Or
good.
AI
even,
does not
like,
have discernment.
The motion blur stuff that like people are really loving these days, like they'll just be like, "That's a crap photo. See
Yep.
you later."
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that was an intentional
Yeah.
thing, or
It doesn't
know.
have that human connection
Totally.
to like
No
the
discernment.
situation.
the human emotion is
Right,
like
right,
honestly like what it comes
Well,
really
there's
like
no
down
connection. It's just based on data.
to. Data, yeah. So
Their
it's
eyes are
very
open.
like
It's
it's
not
black
blurry.
and white
Right,
where
yeah.
there's a lot of gray area.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will call you.
Sarah?
As weird as this sounds, I think my greatest accomplishment is not quitting.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've been doing this for so long, and gone through. I mean, I did seniors, big weddings, maternity, newborn. I've done some studio. Like I've done it all, and I almost quit in like right before 2020, and because I was just burnt out. I wasn't loving it. I hadn't found, I would hear people talk about like, find your ideal client. And I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Well, also, how do you when people are inquiring you?
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know you.
Totally.
Like,
And what happened is my sister got married in 2020 and was like, hey, we're going to climb by Mount Rainier and get married with just a couple people. Will you come take pictures? And at that point, I was like, I needed new gear. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I'll rent some stuff,
Yeah.
And I did it and it clicked. And I was like, oh.
Is that kind of when you decided to go from like just
The
weddings
elopement.
period to elopement?
Yeah, because I realized like I've always been passionate about like marriage and relationships, and it was like that connected those two things for me because it was two people who like they cared more about their marriage than
The
their wedding.
intimacy.
Right.
What I love about your elopement photos is the contrast of them and the grand scale of the background, but the intimacy of the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
so cool. Like,
And
that
it's
is a
it's the
huge
best.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
the best thing to be able to capture, and like giving them time during the day to do what they want. Like she came with me to Seabrook for a coastal one, and I just told him for like 15 minutes, like go be by yourselves for a little while. Like we've got time. The
I gotta
sun's
tell a photo.
like well I did, but
Yeah.
but I was
Legit,
like
yeah.
I like to give them space and time, because like with big weddings what happens a lot is like they barely have any alone time
Right.
on
It's like
their
almost
wedding
like
day.
forced intimacy where it's like not real intimacy.
Yeah, like okay,
It's
now
like-
we're gonna go
It's
take
for the
sunset
Yeah.
photos
show,
and be
kind of.
romantic.
It's exactly. It's very staged, very
Yes.
forced, very
Yeah.
like unnatural. Yeah.
So
I never understood that until my actual wedding. Like,
Yeah.
when we shot that wedding, what was that, 3 months ago, I think? The latches.
Yep.
And we
Oh,
just
okay.
rushed. Yeah, the latch. They were
Yeah,
shooting with
yeah, I
us.
edited that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
sweet.
edited,
Yeah, yeah.
But we rushed them through those sunset
Yeah.
photos, and like
you have to.
you have to. But when I actually got married, I was like, oh my gosh, like we just did like 4 poses. Leave me alone, you know? Like,
Right.
I don't
what do you
want to,
from
but
me?
Yeah,
It's
when you're
so
on the
worth
other
it.
side, it
Yeah.
like it all clicks. Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh my
so
god, yeah,
worth
okay.
it in the final product, but in those moments you're like, oh, it's like feels so long, and like the day goes by so fast that like little moments like that. You're
Yeah.
like, why is this taking 20 hours? Like everything else just went by so fast, and then you're like kind of still.
This slows.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love those moments too for the weddings because it allows the bride and groom to
slow down. Yeah.
and just enjoy the second. Like,
And that's why I'm such an advocate for first looks. And there's still people that are like anti first look, or like they're very traditional in that sense, which is fine. Like some people don't want to do it, and that's cool. But it just gives them time to be alone. It gives them time to like chat with each other before the craziness of the day. There's no like guests there yet during a first look.
Yeah, because like once the ceremony starts, it's really just like get here, get
It's
here, get
go,
here,
go,
get
go.
here.
It's
Yeah.
go, go,
The whole
go.
time.
oh,
Yeah.
now you got to talk to all 20 tables
Yeah.
for a
Literally.
photo shoot. Oh my gosh.
The worst thing.
That's my
of
biggest
job.
pet peeve, by the way.
It's the worst.
Of the job is there's this new trend going around where you have one
Table dash.
song.
Terrible.
It's the table dash. And
It's horrid.
You have one song to get to every table and take a photo.
The
What?
photos turn out horrible.
They're horrible. They're
every time.
horrible.
Wait,
What do you
wait,
expect
wait,
me to
wait.
do?
Like,
Changing my
wait, no,
settings that
explain
fast,
that
like-
like to me real quick.
So a song plays. The DJ will go, okay, you have one song, and we're gonna run to every table, and the photographer's gonna follow you, and you're
So
gonna
you
take a
basically
picture
have
with all
three
of
and a
your
half
guests.
minutes to get a picture with,
With
every
every
single
guest.
table.
That sounds horrendous. Because
It's
yeah, like you said,
terrible.
like lighting, you have to like
Change it
adjust
every
It's a
everything.
nightmare.
Like,
Can you
And-
imagine running around with that?
Right.
that sounds
Yeah.
horrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and also like no one's looking, everyone's blinking, and I just kind of am like,
you only
this
get
is what
one
it
or
is.
two.
Yeah, I just take like 2 or 3, and then we move. Like
Yeah.
you don't have time.
It's not even worth it.
And it would be one thing if they wanted
Who
to
started
walk
this
around.
trend? I want
I
some
don't know.
words.
Someone on
Pinterest.
TikTok.
Yeah, literally.
TikTok is ruining our lives.
It
so
is.
I actually, it's interesting because I realized when we did Mac and Sav's wedding
Oh yeah.
that I'm a huge fan of receiving lines.
I like
Because
that.
they did
Receiving
one
lines.
where like after the ceremony they go stand somewhere
And they get to hug every person.
everyone on their way to the
Oh,
reception or
yeah,
wherever
yeah.
because
Oh, that's awesome.
then you actually
drank a
get like
little of that.
I love
candid
Mac and
nice
Sav.
photos with
They're
everybody
fantastic.
Yeah, I
and
went to
yeah,
high school with them.
they're the best.
love them.
Love them so
No,
much.
I love them.
Mac was episode 19.
Oh,
we
okay.
have to
Yeah.
listen to
Yeah.
them.
We
Go
did
Mac.
Marvel.
I'll have to listen to it.
Go
Ooh.
Mac.
It's all
Yeah.
Go
Marvel.
Mac.
He's
Shout
great.
out.
The
Mac is the
Habersons.
best.
They're
Sav is
awesome.
great, too,
I love them.
obviously.
Yeah.
She's due in December.
I know.
I'm
I
so
hope our babies share the
excited.
same birthday. That'd be fantastic.
That would be
Little baby
awesome.
Gray.
Yeah. Ava Gray.
Oh, I love it.
I'm so excited for them.
They're so
Okay,
cute.
what was the?
I don't know.
I got him. right
We
here.
got off
I've been the
track.
phone guy. Oh, okay. What inspires you as a photographer? Like, what are you going and reaching out to, or like you see something and you're like, okay, I got to
Your
do that, or
muse.
like I need to do or try something along those lines.
Yeah. That's hard because so much of social media is like seeing other photographers' work, and
A
I
lot of
think it kind
trends.
of ruins like it. I wouldn't say ruins like inspiration for people, but it's a lot like you're being fed a lot of stuff all the time.
Can I say?
Yeah.
You two are, again, that little quote over there. You separate yourselves.
Thank
You're not trendy. Like, you are trendy
Well, right,
in the
right,
sense of
right,
what
right.
you do, but you're not like followers.
Well,
You're
thank you.
trendsetters.
I
Yeah.
hate lut pasters. If your entire Instagram page looks the exact
I
same.
hate it. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
And
No,
I
thank
just
you.
don't care about that.
Get.
Like I don't care about my feed looking.
No,
No.
because
Cohesive.
you shoot in different locations.
I shoot in
Yeah.
different locations. The lighting's gonna look
Yeah,
different
like-
every time.
A golden hour on the beach is going to look totally different from like snow in the mountains. Like
Or,
why
like,
would that look the same?
Reception photos
command
indoors.
paste.
Like, it's just going to be very different. And so I think we both kind of have this vision of every shoot is different, every wedding's different, every elopement's different. It's going to
how
look
you should
different.
think.
That's how
Yeah.
it should be, in my opinion. And
It should be unique.
so
Yeah.
it's hard too because every photographer is so different. So Instagram makes it a little bit hard to be inspired, I would say, for me. But like I love driving by myself. Like I love it so much. Having no toddler in my backseat is like a dream. And being
radio's
able to
for.
listen to whatever I want in the car, and like not hearing or like someone needing me.
Yeah.
So like just driving and like seeing different locations and like different lighting and
Yeah.
being like, oh, that would be so fun to shoot in that situation, and then just going and finding someone to do it. So,
Well,
just
the
like
AOP boys
seeing
are
stuff.
always willing to step in if you need
Heck
us.
yeah,
you know.
model for me.
Hey, you never know. Like,
Fantastic.
yeah, we'll hop in. You get all three of us in one. It's going to be a great
I
shoot.
mean, it
Oh,
sounds
I-
like a good time.
yeah.
We'll call you.
Get us in a river or something. You know,
Oh, yeah.
It could be fun.
Oh.
He said, "Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Get me in
He's
my
got
romper
long hair,
again.
you know?
I got the hair flick.
it's so
Yeah.
majestic."
You get some big whips of him
Yeah.
and us just standing in the back.
Amazing.
You never know. You never know.
Yes.
As cheesy as this sounds, like people's relationships inspire me. That's like my whole thing is I love every relationship is different, and being a couple photographer, like that's what I want to feature in your pictures. And like,
Do you base your edits off that? Like,
to some extent, like some of my couples are very much more like the serious, like moody type of couple, and then some of them are really playful, and like just depending on their
so
relationship.
contrast, no contrast.
Yeah, or like
More
I'll
black and
do
white.
like more black and whites.
Yeah.
Like
That's her thing.
I've half considered just doing all black and whites all the time.
You should
Honestly,
just pick up film.
yeah,
honestly.
I've thought about it, or getting like one of the Fujifilm
Yeah.
with the
I have one. Yeah. They're great.
They're
just
sick.
because there's something about black and white that I just love so much. But I think like letting in the moment my couple and where we're at just kind of
their
dictate
thing.
how things are gonna look.
Yeah.
And I am too lazy to follow any trends. Like it's just too much
same.
work for me. I don't care.
I have my own trends to worry about. So
Like
that's what I
I
do.
Right.
play with stuff, I've played with motion blur and I've played with various things, but
Wait,
I
you played
only
with motion blur in photos. How do you use that? Oh, like you. Like
Yeah.
Literally
shutter? Okay,
slow
got it.
shutter,
Slow shutter.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wait,
yeah, you're
what?
like, huh?
I thought you were talking like a drop effect, and I'm like,
No.
No.
Yeah, and like I'll do it if it feels right in that moment, but I
Yeah.
don't like plan that stuff ahead of time too much unless my client specifically asks for it. Obviously,
Yeah.
then I'll do
I
it.
saw this trend. Can you do this?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, you're ahead of me. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Let me just learn how to do that real quick. No problem.
Right.
But yeah, so for me, it's just the people that I'm working with. Yeah.
That was so much more profound than mine. But
That's okay.
oops.
She's got like 6-7 years on you,
Right,
so
right,
it's
right.
okay.
Remember, I'm old.
The people. And I said I like driving.
I do too.
No, I mean,
I'm a
there's
big
nothing
driver.
wrong with
No.
that. Like you said, like you're looking for the location,
Totally.
the
It's the
lighting.
lighting.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still,
Totally.
it's just as profound. It's just,
It is.
It's different.
I mean, I
is.
get
It's just
inspired
different.
sometimes when I drive by a forest and I see like
Yes.
light coming through,
Yeah.
and it's
That's
like
what
one
I
of the
mean.
like jail cell forests, where it's
Yeah.
like dense, and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like
Totally.
a
I
fairy
can see
tale.
so many
Yeah.
photos in there.
Yeah.
but
That's
it's
it.
the same. Like you
It's
drive
just
around
different
and
And it's
perspectives.
definitely different too with elopements versus big weddings. Like
Yeah.
just
Well,
the vibe
weddings
of
are
it.
big venues. It's
Yeah.
you're kind of locked into
You
one
kind of just
location.
do what's
and
there.
then-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you shoot a Russian wedding where you got to go to like 6 locations.
Yes.
But
Really?
Pass.
Oh yeah, they're very much about the photos of like the couple and the group,
Yeah.
Interesting.
and then you travel like 3-4 locations, and then you go.
That sounds hard.
That sounds
Yeah.
kind of hectic.
It is. It's very
Wow.
hectic.
The
Wow.
wedding I'm doing tomorrow, they asked me to come to the Airbnb to get shots of hair and makeup before we go to the venue, and it's 15 minutes away. And I'm like, that sounds hard.
That's too far.
And it's one.
I don't
like,
want to.
nah, I don't feel like
nah.
I'll do it, but do I want to? Absolutely not.
No.
Sounds like work.
Sounds like
This wasn't in the contract.
Right. It wasn't talked about till last week. So do I do it? I'm going to, obviously.
Sneaky.
But
Do you guys get a lot of clients that just kind of throw in last minute stuff like that, where it's
Mm.
like it wasn't in the contract, but can you do this?
I mean, there's some things I don't think it's necessarily intentional. There will be things where it's like the timeline, like things just won't work. And wedding days, like big weddings, the timeline is kind of everything of like when things are happening, and there's like kind of a flow to it.
And stuff always kind of bleeds. Is like
totally, yeah,
Oh.
and things happen for
You're
sure.
always half an hour behind minimum.
Oh, always,
Minimum.
always.
just
And, like,
everything bleeds into each
Yeah.
other. You're just like,
Exactly.
oh my god, I'm behind.
And once the reception happens, it kind of all figures itself out. But there will be times where like they're like, oh well, our send off is being pushed by a half hour. Can you just stay? Like things like
No.
that. And
We
I
booked 8 hours.
right. I'm like, we booked 8 hours, but in the moment, a lot of times I'm like, I'm a pushover. Sure. Like where else am I gonna go home?
What's like you
So-
feel bad
Nope.
saying no.
I know,
You
and
feel bad,
I'm
yeah.
such a people pleaser
It'll
when it
only
comes to
be
stuff like
15
that.
minutes after what we paid you.
But it's an hour.
That counts into the next
Yeah,
hour.
exactly.
$100.
Literally.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
how much it
I
costs.
charge
Yep.
way more than that for an extra hour.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just.
it's
I've had
very
it happen.
much like things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. They kind of just follow the contract, and that's been great. And if there's something that comes up beforehand, we'll have a conversation, and there will either be funds paid or it won't happen.
or it won't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I don't know about elopements.
Well, it's totally different because I am the planner. Elopement
Right, she does
photographers
everything.
are the
Okay.
planners. It's so different. Like I'm not working with another planner. I am the planner, and so
Right.
I'm the one
It's
that's
based
like,
around
this is
you.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they obviously, I talk to them. We build their schedule how they want, but it's all communicated ahead of time, and I've got it good to
Yeah,
go.
and then you have
So-
your
kinda
schedule and you're
curate-
locked.
You curate to them.
Yep.
That
Like
sounds nice because then you know how long you get.
It's
and
so great.
Yeah, that
It's the
sounds
best.
Really nice.
And
I
I
might
mean-
transition into that.
Honestly.
You're taking weddings.
Hey, if you start doing elopements, I will recommend you to people because
There we go.
you know
I need to go through
Yeah.
through trial and fire.
Yeah.
Right.
you gotta pay your dues.
You gotta,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
Do
Yeah,
your time.
I gotta do
Burned.
big weddings, and then if I want to do
Yep.
elopements,
Yeah.
I'll get to
Yeah.
Okay.
You work your way up.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with big weddings too, with planners, they just kind of do it for me, and then they pass
Yeah.
it to me. They're like, "Does this work?" So I get my say, which is great, but it's definitely different in this. Someone else is doing that for me, which I love.
With
because
no
I don't wanna do
understanding
it.
of what you need, by the way.
Most of the time, no.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten pretty lucky. Most of the planners and coordinators have been like, "Is this enough time? Like, please tell me if it's not." Like, super understanding and like open to my critiques and all the things. But sometimes they're just like, "You get 12 minutes for
12
family
minutes.
photos."
Well, that's so
Right.
random. That's so
I know.
arbitrary.
I know. So
12 and a half.
I
You get
only
12 and a half
do,
minutes.
Seconds.
Nothing more than 30
Nothing
seconds
more.
after that 12
Thank you
minute.
so much for asking, but no.
I've only been doing weddings with my mom because she's a planner.
She's amazing.
She's-
I
Oh,
love
she's a
her.
boss.
Oh, I
We
love
her
Lori.
so
Shout out to Lori.
much.
Lori.
Hi,
We
Lori.
love you.
She listens, by the way. So
Perfect.
Does she?
yeah, yeah.
Hey, hi,
She's a
Lori.
boss.
She's great.
But the reason for that is because I just know like,
Yes.
we're
Right.
going to be on time.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's going to be exactly what she scheduled,
Yep.
and it's in papyrus font.
Well, I guess
all I
it
care
helps
about.
being the mom of a
That is so
videographer that
Exactly.
you know, like she takes into account what you mentioned
Well,
to
she
her. I'm
messaged
sure.
me
Yeah.
beforehand. She's like, "Hey, this is what the breaks look like. What do you think you'll need?" And I'm like, "Can you add like 10 minutes onto that?"
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Cool."
And
Yeah.
Cool,
I've
yeah.
had a handful of planners and
Yeah,
coordinators
shout out
that are
Lori.
fantastic. Lori being one of them, absolutely my favorite. But then there's some that are either new to it or just don't really
Or the
care.
mom.
Or I hate it
The
when
mom
it's like
planner.
that.
Or the
Oh,
maid of honor,
Lord.
or like
Dude.
Aunt Sherry, or whoever. Like,
Yeah.
it's never gonna
Who's
work.
like an office manager for
Yes.
some random
Right. Yes,
company? And it's like, this
exactly.
has nothing to do with what
No.
you
Yeah,
do.
nope.
I do a
Don't
lot
know.
of planning, and it's like no.
No.
I'm actually
Not
worried
wedding
about your
planning.
planned a
company at this
barbecue.
point.
That's not the same. That's not it.
You plan the business. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you plan the like the
Company
holiday
Christmas party.
company Christmas party barbecue.
Not
This is
the
not the
same.
same.
Yeah, nope.
You bought the food and booked the location. This is
Yeah.
not.
You're not planner.
You're on
quite
like
it.
step 1 of 10. We need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Always outsource that. Please.
always.
Yes.
Always. Even if it's your day of.
Oh,
Totally.
that
Yeah.
makes all the difference.
Yeah.
You don't need someone to plan your whole wedding. At least have a coordinator.
Because otherwise, it's the
It
photographer.
becomes my job.
Well, don't
I make
ask
the
me.
timeline.
I'm like, I'm with the photographer.
You're like,
That's
I
what
don't know
say every
anything.
time.
I'm with the photographer.
Yeah.
I just follow them around.
Yeah. I say that
like,
every
you,
time.
Like when you mentioned like
Yeah.
as a videographer, like you're there to like do film, and then there's a photographer. Like, who do you want to lead? You lead.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
You
we
lead.
have like
Which we appreciate.
yeah, and I mean, you guys technically need more, right? Like,
Right.
because we're filming
It's
at
a lot- I
60
feel like
frames a second.
It's a lot easier to work around a photographer than it is for a photographer to work around
around a
the
videographer.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like
So,
we also are shooting at this point in 6K, so like if
I have
shoot
4
with a
times Zoom.
yeah, like
Right.
and
Yeah,
it's
literally.
still,
4 times Zoom.
Yeah.
Like we're
Just
good.
fine.
It's still 1080. So like if I'm over your shoulder, I'm still looking cheek to cheek at this point.
Yeah.
So, like,
Right.
Yeah.
we're fine.
Yeah.
So we like to stay out of the way. That's
Yeah.
our gig.
Yeah. And I feel like we've, like, for most of the videographers that have been professionals,
There
at
have
least,
been a couple
Arrogant.
that have been
I've
interesting.
had a few iPhone videographers
Oh.
that have a little bit ruined my day.
Wow.
Okay, I have to tell this one
I feel like
story.
TikTok kind of like
Okay.
started that like
That hops
From
that
Tessini's
hops
wedding?
into our next question of most embarrassing or most entertaining story.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we were doing a wedding.
Is this Tessini's wedding?
Yes.
Love it.
She already knows.
I love
She already
how
knows.
She knows right
I-
off the bat.
She was
Because-
second shooting for me, yeah.
Okay. I try not to be a mean person, but this was so frustrating. There was a point where you were doing family
photos,
photos, which first of all,
No one else needs to
correct
do
me
those.
if I'm wrong, but you don't.
Unnecessary for video.
Okay, thank
Right,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying
No
that.
one wants that.
I
but-
grab like maybe 1 or 2
Right.
of the brides goofing around with their girls and the
Right.
groom goofing around with their boys.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah,
No one needs
that's
to
what I've
hand-
seen.
Yes.
Max.
From I usually like I'll help edit weddings, and that's what I see. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the brides with
Little
the
goofing
with
around.
the
That's
Yeah.
it.
bridesmaids,
Yeah.
And then I'm gone. You
Totally.
won't see me for 40 minutes.
Yeah. So she's doing her thing, killing it as usual. And this lady not only like steps in front of her, but interrupts her speaking
It was
to
so
get a
bad.
shot that she wanted. Like in
On
the
her
middle
iPhone.
of her
On her
orchestrating
iPhone
family
gimbal
photos.
thingy.
Wow.
And I
Was
just
it
didn't
worth
know
it?
what
Did
to
you
do.
see the iPhone photo?
Yeah, I saw all the footage and no comment.
Okay.
I have nothing to say.
No
about
comment.
It was. I
Smart.
just did. I was like
Wow.
gobsmacked. I was like, "What
I can
just
tell you later.
happened?"
Off the record.
It was wild.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. And like all of the first look photos, I had to edit her out. And
Yeah, she
'cause
was in all of them.
there,
Without
she just, like, didn't
Photoshop
have-
beta.
Yeah, literally. It was
Exactly.
before
This
that.
was before that. But it's like she had no spatial awareness of like, oh, you're right across from me. I'm going to be in your shot. Because I don't think she really cared if anybody else was in her shot. She was like doing this for funsies, kind of.
Maybe
Like,
she was
you're
building her
making-
business.
I don't think so. I
not
don't.
cool.
No, this is
think
Aunt
so.
Sherry doing this for Aunt Sherry.
No, she was like a
Sherry's
family
about to
friend.
get the
She was a family friend.
smackdown,
So
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been a couple of those, and I mean, then I've worked with some like newer videographers that are killing it and are very respectful and do just what you guys do, and you're just there for what
You
you
honestly
can
Like,
don't
get.
notice us.
No.
I kind of
No.
feel like TikTok and Instagram, like with the way like social media has gone, is like inspired, quote unquote,
Yeah.
a lot of these iPhone videographers to like try it out. And I feel like not a lot of people have the passion for it,
Right.
or like the
It's a
spatial
money grab.
awareness.
It's a money
It's
grab
a money
a little
grab
bit,
a
yeah,
lot for like, I mean, with any business really,
Right.
but
They're
like
like, I have an
specifically
iPhone,
with, like
I can do that.
exactly. And like I mean,
No.
iPhones have fantastic cameras, like you know,
But
they-
it's
Not the
non-controllable. It's
in the in the post
non-controllable.
in the post where you want to be able to edit, it doesn't have the
Right.
capabilities where
Right.
like a real camera is going to have.
I
And
don't
I feel
know
like
that she edited much. I think it was just cut up a little bit.
it's just like a
but-
quick like
iMovie.
iPhone LUT. Like,
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
like a little yeah. But
Yeah.
I'll turn it
So-
down.
yeah.
There are moments. There are definitely moments with videographers, but for the most part, it's like I'd say 75 to 80% of the time we have no, or
Yeah.
I
Sure.
have no issues at
Yeah.
weddings with videographers. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good
I
numbers.
just stay out of your guys' way because I'm like, these guys.
Yeah,
they
Nick's
do
our
way more
favorite.
than me.
And no,
Yeah.
like I kind of took
Yeah.
that to like it resonated with me. Like, yeah, just let the photographers. And I saw that with Ali when I did my first like wedding, where
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, I
You
have
shot with Ali Northlight.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and
got
I was
it.
like, I have 4x zoom.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you do your thing.
Yeah.
I'll shoot over your shoulder. Like
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also 6 inches taller than both of you.
Right.
that's also
Exactly.
true.
If it's
Yeah.
on my shoulder, it's gonna look.
Yeah.
She's
the
like,
same.
am I in your
Right.
way?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I could just.
Yeah.
We're good.
And we also always check with them too. It's not like we're just bulldozing.
No.
We're always like, okay, do you want to take a second? You know what I mean?
Or
like,
I just tell you guys. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, before we
Right.
leave, I need these 3.
Totally.
Right. And we're
Yeah.
cool with
Yeah.
that. Like, there's nothing wrong with
it's
that.
just communication.
You just
Yeah.
talk to each other about
Synergy.
it. Literally. Yeah.
My favorite thing about shooting weddings is when like you accidentally like you cross hairs with the other person, and then
Oh,
you see
sorry.
each other in the camera, and you're like,
Who's moving?
yeah,
Who is it?
I'll come over there.
Right.
They're spinning
Exactly.
anyways. I'm coming.
It's
right.
fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just literally the silent.
Me over
The
there, yeah.
silent, yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Lots of pointing.
Right.
What's the craziest thing you've seen happen at a wedding? I have my story locked and loaded.
The craziest thing?
Yeah, like either to the group, to you, like tech malfunction. Like what's the
Oh, I have
craziest
mine
thing
because
that's
I've only
happened?
done one wedding. So.
There you go.
Okay,
There
well,
it is.
I
Start
have
it
to
off.
think, so somebody else has to
All
go
right,
first.
so mine, I recently did a wedding, and I was contracted to just do ceremony and speeches.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been to a few weddings, like not as a videographer, as an attendee.
Yeah.
And speeches have been 15 to 30 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
Max.
I spent an hour filming speeches. An
Immediately
hour.
no.
I thought I was supposed to
We're
go
out
up
of
there and give
data.
my own speech. Like everyone was giving speeches.
you're like,
What's up,
never
everyone?
stressed out.
No,
I
like,
have to
they
go.
were like,
Ever.
and like they were like, who else? Who else? I'm like, shit, should I go up there and give a speech?
My turn?
No, like I had a battery run out on me.
Stop.
Like it died on me because I was like, I saw the battery. It was like 50 minutes, and I'm like, oh, that's plenty.
Yeah, for
And then
JK.
like, and then the battery was getting to like
Oh my
20
gosh.
minutes, and I was like 15, and then when it got to 11, it just died, and I'm like, oh my god.
I'm done. We're
And
done.
then I threw on another battery. I lost like a couple minutes of it, and then they
Whatever,
still went
yeah.
on for like another 30 minutes.
I feel passionately about not having an open mind.
Yes, agreed.
No,
How do
it,
I?
it was
Yeah.
No one
No.
should.
like, it was a cool
question.
wedding. Like both the bride and the groom were police officers.
Okay.
And they had like their entire like police,
Platoon.
like their whole platoon. I don't know if that's the
whole
right
police
word.
Yeah, that's
force.
not
The
the
whole
right
police
thing.
force just giving speeches.
The force.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, the whole force, like the entire police department was
Sheesh.
giving speeches, and I was like, oh my god, is this what it's normally like?
No. No.
Like
God,
literally
no.
an hour worth of
25
speeches.
minutes.
Max.
Like it's
Yeah.
max.
That's what I thought. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm good. Like battery life, we're good. I'm gonna
Right.
Oof,
an hour. So that was
Terrible.
that was my craziest.
that's terrible.
My one
I'm
and
sorry.
only crazy
I hate
Wedding.
that
One and
for
only.
you. I hate that for you so much. I'm so sorry.
I had to
Yeah.
get in the fire to like really like.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to start at the bottom to like
felt
really
the
like
burn.
appreciate
Fantastic.
the,
Felt
the
the
rest.
burn.
Yeah. That
So that was
your
mine.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Hey,
was
at least you
shooting
got it
at,
out of the way early.
No, it was very
very early.
Yeah.
I
I
still
was
had fun.
shooting
Great
at
food.
Swiftwater. Have you
Oh,
guys
okay.
shot there
Yeah.
before?
Mhm.
I
You know
have.
how the cellars are down below?
Yeah.
So you come down like this 90-degree turn of stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the bride and groom were coming down, and the bridesmaids and groomsmen were following very close.
Uh-oh.
And she had a long train.
Uh-oh.
And
Uh-oh.
so the photographer and I, which it was Brittany, I cannot remember her name. You wouldn't shoot with that photographer, so why would you know that? Because you are the photographer.
I mean,
Anyways.
I know photographers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
She's probably close to 40. Anyways, doesn't matter. She was shooting, and they took their first step off the stair, and the bridesmaid and groomsman stepped on the two corners of her dress and just pulled her boobs all the way out.
That's not what I expected.
Yeah.
Me neither, actually. I was expecting
And-
a
Oh my
tumbling
God.
down the
Oh, a
stairs.
tumble? No,
yeah.
no, no.
Or
Yeah,
ripped
I thought someone was
dress.
gonna like fall. I was like,
No.
who fell?
And it was a good
Oh, God.
like 10 seconds of everyone froze.
Yeah.
And I'm just standing there and I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. Like, because
What
I
do I
was
do?
more like
Stop recording.
concerned with what was going on.
Right.
And I walked over and I was like, hey, I deleted that. Like,
Goodness.
and also like there was a corner for them to come around. You know how
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's really tight tunnel
Yeah.
until you come out. So they came around and the bride was freaking out that
Yeah.
anyone would seen them, but like I couldn't even see the tables around the corner. So
Right.
it's like, you're fine. No
Right.
one saw you.
Oh my
Like,
God.
Oh, poor thing.
Footage deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Photographer deleted the photos because she was like,
Yeah.
and then it was just like,
Just burst.
just like came out and was like, oh my God.
That is a horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. And she didn't have like anything under. So
Well,
it was
right,
just
no.
straight.
Yeah.
Like
As you
strapless
wouldn't.
dress.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
Well, she didn't have like the sticky boobs or
Nothing,
like, no
just-
paste or
No
anything.
Oh
pasties.
my
Like,
God.
I feel like dresses just kind of have that built in now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
why would you
Yeah, but
It's probably happened
I mean,
enough to where like
Sheesh.
designers are like, we need to.
figure something out?
She will never not show up without one of those now. Probably.
Yeah,
She
literally.
has a
She has
strapless
been
dress
scarred.
on.
She's
for life
learned.
on her wedding day.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my
no.
story of
That's,
Oh wow.
yeah.
That's something. Mine's not as good as that. Mine's just more impressive than anything. It was actually that wedding I associate shot for you recently.
Oh, yeah.
One of the bridesmaids had her shoes on when she put her dress on.
What?
I don't know why, but it ripped her dress.
Obviously.
Oh my
And
God.
but this and it was like it was just like a complicated strap situation, and so it like her dress wouldn't stay on. And so one of the bridesmaids, this is so impressive, I told her she needs to be a professional bridesmaid.
It's a thing.
She's a seamstress.
She
like, out of nowhere.
grabbed their like matching PJs because they were like very, very similar to the dress material, and she like cut up the PJs and
No
like
way.
built a strap and sewed it in.
She's a boss.
In
She's
like
a seamstress.
Wow.
10
Like,
minutes.
that's her
Yeah.
hobby. I'm
Yeah.
for,
You
for
would expect
sure.
grandma
There's
to
no
pull
way.
that.
I know.
But
Like it was impressive.
Abuelita?
So
Literally.
yeah, that was like a pretty crazy thing, and I was like, you need to like go into business immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know how many people would do?
Are you designing your own clothes yet? Like
Literally. And it looked, you could not tell.
No.
Like you could not tell.
Dang.
Yeah.
that's impressive.
It was
Actually,
very
that's
impressive. Yeah.
Jeez.
I could never.
No. Like, well, you're
I'd be like,
screwed.
does anybody have duct tape?
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
like, I just
Sorry.
who's got tape?
We're gonna
Who's got
tape it from
tape?
the inside,
We got
and it's gonna
this.
be just fine.
This is silver and it doesn't match, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Who cares?
It's got some texture, but
Yeah.
Right.
Who's
okay.
got bobby pins? Like,
Yeah,
Right.
literally.
Safety. What's
safety
something?
pins. Yeah.
I always take them to weddings, and it always comes in handy.
Oh, you always need
Always
a safety
need
pin.
Oh,
it.
it's like zip
That's why I
ties.
wear the
It's like zip
fannies.
ties in
Yeah.
camping. You
Well,
always need
recently-
zip ties. Like
Literally.
Yeah.
I had a bridesmaid at a wedding a few weeks ago, and her dress, she like didn't try it on. It would not zip up, so we legit had to like tuck it. She like zipped it up to where she could. We had to like safety pin it so the zipper wouldn't fall, and then we had to tuck the sides of the dress and make it look intentional, and it was fine. But
oh my god.
you just have to kind of jimmy rig a dress and hope for the best.
It's
Kind
not
of
the
like
MacGyver
rig
it.
weddings is
Yeah,
what it is.
It,
Like,
it
Yeah.
is a little bit
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
the
It's like
chaos is
with this industry, it's a lot of just like you just got to figure stuff out.
Yeah,
Oh,
you just
for
have to
sure.
do it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
like 80% of the things are going to be planned, but you still have to kind of go with the flow with them.
Yeah. Oh,
'cause
yeah.
It's,
Things are going to happen and
Yeah.
things are going to change. And I mean, this has happened. I guess this is kind of my crazy story. This has happened twice where I've done two separate weddings where it's been a bridesmaid once and a groomsman once where the suit or the dress was a completely wrong color and they did not check until the week of the wedding.
Oh.
So
Wow.
a wedding I did 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Just put them in the middle.
Well, you put it on the maid of honor so that it looks
Oh,
intentional,
yep,
because
yep.
sometimes like they're like, if the groom's wearing gray, like a light gray, and everyone else is in charcoal, like the best man being in also lighter gray, like doesn't look
Makes sense.
Yeah.
terrible. It like would kind of make sense.
You just hope they're similar sizes.
Thank goodness they were both
Yeah.
times. The groom, so the groom was in light gray. All the guys were supposed to be in charcoal, and this one groomsman ended up with a light gray suit also, and it fit the best man, thankfully.
Oh my
So
god.
that worked out.
Michael
Man.
Scott and Jim's.
Exactly.
suit. Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah,
But
no.
this one was specifically, it worked. And then the bridesmaid, thankfully they were the same size. She got a wrong color dress, like multiple shades of pink different. So it was like very noticeable. And I was like, I would be happy to change it if you want me to. And she was like, I actually kind of like the way it looks. So I didn't have to deal with it, which was
Perfect.
great. But
I mean, you got Photoshop
hap-
color match now.
exactly.
So,
So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But she kind of liked it, so it worked out. But
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely check things more than a
Yeah.
week.
Check
like,
things when you get
yikes.
them.
at least 2, so you have some shipping time.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Right.
such a
like,
high stress like event. You should
Right.
definitely be checking
Especially
as
if
you
you're-
get stuff like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If
check.
you're in someone else's thing, and like I had a crazy, it happened to me twice in a row. I was in my buddy's wedding that I was a groomsman. The order didn't go through. The wedding was in Florida.
Oh lord.
So I checked 3 weeks beforehand because I'm like, let me make sure all my stuff's
Yeah.
there. No recollection of any. And I call the offices, nothing. They're like, no, we don't have any order. And then I go and look at my cart.
It's
and I was
still
like,
there.
this did not process, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Great.
I got a email saying it processed. And so I'm like, okay, I need you to ship this suit to Miami because this is
Oh,
where I
man.
am.
No.
So I own a tan suit now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you'll use it.
Definitely do a photo shoot in that.
Yeah.
And then it happened at Mac's wedding. The same
Did it?
exact thing. Ordered it. I was like, Helena, can you watch me hit send on this? Because I don't want it to happen again.
I need 2 sets of eyes.
Yeah. She watched it. It happened. I went in 3 weeks before. I'm like, hey, where's my suit? And they're
Same
like,
place?
what are you talking about? Yeah.
Same- oh, okay.
So
Now
then
we
I
know.
was in South Center's Men's Warehouse.
Yep.
Screw
Yep.
them
was it
all
men's
the way.
men's warehouse?
It's
No.
always men's
It's
warehouse.
always men's
I've
warehouse.
never had any
Always.
issues.
Dude,
Always.
screwed me. So I walked over
Terrible.
to Macy's.
I've done like
Yeah.
homecomings, proms.
found
I've
the
done,
Calvin
like,
Klein
always
suit.
weddings.
I got the suit bought cheaper
Oh, then renting.
than renting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like-
kind of typical.
Well, no,
now
it's
I
like-
own a dark blue suit.
And
So
now
that
as
suit I was wearing at
adults,
Mac's,
now as
I own.
adults, you really need a suit anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. There's going to
Like,
be times you
it's-
need it.
Eventually,
And now
yeah.
you have options.
Now you have
Rarely
options. You have a
needed
tan.
that.
You have a blue suit. Like
Just start wearing it here. Just start coming to work.
I'm
You
gonna-
should.
be Jim. Be Jim.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send out a memo about
Yeah.
I need you to wear a
Classy.
mustard shirt. I'm
Oh,
going to need
God.
you to.
Am I Dwight?
Yeah. You are now.
I think Jordan's Dwight.
Jordan's Dwight.
Make him wear a mustard
I think I'm a
shirt.
solid mix of Pam and Michael.
That is the most random mix
fair.
of...
That's not what I
I
expected
have
you to
eccentric
say.
energy, but I'm an artist as well.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really need to categorize like all of us.
Yeah.
Who is Creed? That's all I care about.
Oh,
I
gosh.
might be Creed.
Yeah. Last person
might
that
be me.
turned
Somebody
on
has to
Creed
be.
Bratton was Creed Bratton.
Yeah, the last person that crossed me was Creed Bratton.
I love that man. Love him so.
Last question. Well, slightly last question. Last photography question. What do you shoot on and why? Because I know what you two shoot on, and I know this discussion is fun because of what you shoot on. Because we
Okay.
all shoot different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even photography, we all shoot different.
Okay.
So I shoot Canon. I shoot
Mm-hmm.
on an R5 with a 28 to 70.
And let me tell
rail.
you, her camera is a Canon with 2 ends.
It is hefty.
Her lens.
The
is
lens is a little bit
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It is a cinema lens on a photography
28 to
camera.
70.
Yeah.
Dude,
but
it's like
it's
this big
but it has a
around.
2.0
God.
aperture on it, so it like works like a prime lens.
Yeah.
But it's not a prime
It's
lens.
beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
magic.
But it's ginormous.
It
It's
is-
a Canon with 2 ends.
My wrist breaks every time because I like naturally just kind of hold it like this while I'm talking to people.
Oh,
Bad
and then like
idea.
at the end of the day,
I'm
you're
like,
like, oh
why
my God,
can
I
I
know.
not
Yeah.
move my wrist?
Yeah, and I've seen you do it with a neck strap, which is insane to me.
I don't do that much
Are you
anymore.
sitting like this next day?
Literally, like I can't move. I'm gonna just sit here for the rest.
Why
of
do
the
you
time.
shoot Canon?
It's all I've shot. And
Okay.
honestly, like I started with a Canon Rebel, like the
T3i or 26i?
no, it was like an XS, like
Oh, I
the
don't even know what
first
that is.
exactly, like the first Canon
Costco
Rebel.
consumer
No,
level.
I literally
Civilian.
with
Yeah.
the kit lens. I got it on OfferUp for like $100,
You gotta
And
start somewhere.
he
There you
had a
go.
50 millimeter lens to go with it, and I said, "Cool, I'll take it." Don't know what that means, but we're gonna figure it out.
Sounds wonderful.
Literally had not a
It's
damn
perfect
clue.
to start, though.
It's
Nifty
literally
50.
it's the
Yeah.
greatest. And
Love
so
the Nifty
I
50.
upgraded to a better lens. I eventually upgraded to the 5D Mark IV, and then moved on from that. Now I'm
I
mirrorless,
want an
but
R5.
it is fantastic.
Oh, I know.
The file sizes, though, I went from an R6 to
I don't
want
want to hear about it.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
you can't talk to them about
Yeah.
that.
But for like one photo, it's really annoying.
This is gonna cost us 600 gigs
Minimum.
minimum.
You know what?
Yeah.
But when they're trying to like download their photos to their phone, and they're like download one photo, and it's like they're out of storage. Like,
Yeah,
so
no.
sorry. Like I have to compress it for them and all the things, but it's just big process. Right.
You
Yeah.
paid for
Kind
high
of
res.
Yeah. Kind of my problem sometimes, but
Sometimes.
they've complained. But from the R6 to the R5, much better quality.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan. So yeah, we have a couple other lenses, but that's
Yeah.
really all I use.
I mean, you literally have the entire range.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't,
I have all
yeah.
that I
At
need.
a
That's why I bought
2.0.
it.
It's a continuous, right? Too, so it's 2.0 through all the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, nice.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sarah?
There's
Well, I'm usually like
She's the
the
one off.
oddball because
the
I am a
oddball.
Nikon shooter.
you went.
And
What?
people, listen, I've accepted that the internet hates Nikon. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
There's nothing wrong with Nikon.
I
Nikon.
am on Z7 IIs. That's what I have. I have two of them. And I shoot on prime lenses right now. So I'm considering getting a 70 to 200, but
Me too. That's on my
we'll
list.
see. For me, it's honestly just how my raw images look. I just love them. And like I've even been at like group shootouts and people will look at the back of my camera and be like,
That's right.
that's raw?
Yeah.
Like it looks
Yes.
like that? I'm like, yes, it does. And that's why I have stuck with Nikon, because just for me and my style, the color science I like it works for me.
That's good.
So yeah.
We're Sony shooters, so
Yeah.
we're fighting.
I figured.
greens all day long.
Yeah.
That's what we do. But for us, we need versatility,
Yeah. For sure.
and that's why
For sure.
Yeah.
we have to have video and photo.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but which is
mean-
why I'm considering a Canon. Sorry, I started on a Nikon.
It
Yeah.
really doesn't bother me. I'm like,
Some
it's
people
fine.
are
I'm also an
so-
Android
Yeah.
person, so I'm
Oh, so
just
you're
like
just,
in
like,
my
full
own
Nikon. You're
little
just full
corner.
Nikon.
I associate probably only
Canon
because
and
of her.
iPhone
Yes.
and Nikon and Android.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
And I have a
Like,
custom built PC. Like I just that's
You are just that
that's how
person.
I
Okay.
am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
See,
my
I'm all
gosh.
iPhone, all Mac, Canon.
Yeah.
Which is why our brains do that, I don't know, but that's just how I
Well,
associate
also
it.
like your Canon can drop to your iPhone.
It's really great.
It's
yeah.
so cool. It's like
so
this photo
nice.
is so cool. Let me do a quick edit and I can text it to him and like.
Exactly.
It's
I
crazy.
do that on wedding days.
I'm sure the Nikon can do with the Android. 'cause
Yes,
that's, you
I
know,
just don't do that
cross-compatible. Yeah.
because
It's annoying, but I do it.
I literally like I tell people I'm a grandma because like I just like I want to sit at my desk to edit. I don't want to do stuff on my phone. Like I
Yeah.
just, I'm just in my own little happy weird corner
Bubble.
of the world over
That's
here.
all that matters, right?
It's great.
You chose it, and that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works for me and people like my photos, so I'm good.
And
That's
I
all
always
that
see
matters.
people talking about switching brands, and like they'll have their reasons, but if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Well,
Like
it's also preference. It's
Yeah.
Totally.
In
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
reality, it is preference.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you shoot a raw flat image, like if I gave you a Canon, a Nikon, and a Sony raw flat image, could you tell me the difference
no,
of three?
Probably
absolutely
not.
You could if you colored them.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, Canon, you just color boost.
Yeah.
Nikon, it's like teal color boost. Like, you know.
Well, Sony, it's like
Or Sony,
magenta.
sorry.
Yeah.
Magenta,
Magenta color
yeah.
boost.
Yes.
Right.
So it's like, yeah. I mean, end of the day, that you can't really tell.
Yeah.
It's
No.
preference.
Yeah.
Right.
Choose what works for you.
Totally. Yeah.
Don't let the internet tell you that your camera's dumb.
Yeah.
Even though I probably would rank some.
My favorite thing is the videos of Nikons being potatoes. It makes me laugh so
I've
much.
never
It's
seen
so
that
funny.
in my life.
I think it's just because I am in
You're
the
a Nikon,
Nikon
yeah.
sphere that I
Yeah.
see them, and
Yeah.
it just makes me laugh. And people are so angry in the comments. They're like, "Nikon's great," and blah. And I'm like, I
Defending.
literally
You
don't
don't
care.
need to
Right.
defend
They're
it.
also
You
one of
already
the
know.
oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Nikon's one of the oldest. So
Right.
They
Yeah.
have it figured out. They're
Yeah.
not
They know
bad
what they're doing.
cameras.
They were. I mean, truthfully, they were a little behind in the mirrorless realm, but that's fine. You
Well,
know.
Sony really jump started all
Oh,
that.
for
And it was
sure.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
here you go, everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's how to shoot in low light.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when the R's came out for Canons, it was like, this is a mirrorless.
Yeah.
It's
For photography,
it's
like
really
this is a
great.
mirrorless.
Yeah.
it does it shoots so fast.
Yeah.
And
I haven't
almost,
shot a Nikon mirrorless, so I can't say anything. But
That's fine.
Yeah.
I could bring it sometime if you want to play with it.
absolutely.
We can just like have all of our gear on a table.
We'll
and
just
watch
put it all
dumb
out. Here you
photos
go.
in
Have
here.
fun.
How about that?
We could do that.
Yeah.
I
We'll come
literally like if she gave me her camera, I get so confused because like the menu
interfaces.
layout. I literally
It's
am like I don't
completely
know what to do.
Well, yeah.
I
The
get
menus are
confused
so
between
different.
My
Yeah.
Sony
Yeah.
and Jordan's Sony. I'm like, what is this
Yeah.
colored
Yeah,
wheel?
literally.
Right.
Yeah.
And like Nikon lenses screw on the opposite way for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, so left is tight, right is.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
It's righty loosey, lefty tighty.
Right.
We're just different, okay?
We're different.
We're
breed.
different. We're unique.
Yeah.
No, I am such a person that's like whatever works for you and like just know how to use your gear. That's what's
that's
really
the
important.
The most important thing. Know how to use what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
You could give an amateur one of these cameras.
Yes.
And it'd still be horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And we could use the most entry level
Yeah.
camera and probably make some pretty
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So-
I think I might have more fun because it's less stress.
Yeah,
Totally.
literally.
Yeah.
I'm not
Less
worried
moving
about
parts.
raw
Very
now.
automated.
Like, only
Right.
2 settings versus 7.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
This is easier.
Yeah.
Like the cameras that don't have Kelvin.
Oh, I can't imagine not having that
Me
now,
too.
though.
That's
Oh
I
what
my
know.
God.
Once you switch, you're like,
Why
why?
did I never have this before?
I love that cameras temperature is based on science's temperature as well, like Kelvin. It's like, no,
Right.
we're gonna choose the hottest measurement
Right.
in science for the color of your camera.
It's
Exactly.
fine.
Like, oh, and it's only 3,000 to 9,000, by the way.
Right.
So
Nothing
we're
else.
really hot the entire time.
Right.
It's like the U.S. using Fahrenheit versus Celsius. Why?
Why?
It's arbitrary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
We want to be different.
Conversion.
Right.
We're cooler.
Now, if you guys could give yourselves or any new photographer wanted to get into
Same
the scene, what advice would you guys give?
Ooh, okay. Sarah, go first. This is kind of Sarah's wheelhouse.
Honestly, I think the biggest thing I'm telling people is like learn the rules, but then do what you want anyways.
We talk about this
Yeah.
all the time. Learn
I
the
told
rules so
him,
you can break them.
I said you are not allowed to break them until you know all
Yeah.
of them.
And
Yeah.
how-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How
And
to
this
do
goes from everything to like shooting and editing, but also the business side of things. Like there's certain things that you have to do,
Yep.
but
Right.
then there's a lot of things that it literally doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
No, yeah, learn the rules so you can learn how to break them.
Yeah.
When you need to
When
break
you need
them.
to.
If you want
Yeah.
to
When
break
it
them.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Or
When
it's
and
an
if you want to
artistic
break them.
decision.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah.
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 What about you?
I would just say to find a community and find people that do what you do, and
Like-minded.
yeah, it can be a very isolating industry if you don't have friends in it because you're kind of doing everything alone.
Yeah.
You're editing alone. Not you guys. You guys have a little team. But like
we do.
for me, I'm editing alone. I'm sometimes 50% of the time shooting alone, and it can be very isolating. And there's like that Instagram world, but it feels very competitive. So just having like core
give a good
people
back.
that
And I think that goes
Totally.
back
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
our first
Yeah.
episode is when we talked about like what we wanted to do different with this is create a community or have
Like
people
bringing people together.
reach
Totally. Yeah.
to gain perspective and like really teach each other like the different perspectives that we
Yeah.
each have. Like we all have different styles.
Totally.
Doesn't mean that we're wrong in any
No.
sense of the word. Like this is different, right? Like teach each other what works, what doesn't work for us, and have something else for each of us to try.
And same thing in the sense of like Sarah has way more experience than I do, but there's still going to be things that she can learn from me and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Absolutely.
It's
yeah.
it should be a really synergistic
Yeah.
community of like let's teach each other, let's see, like let's grow each let's
Totally.
grow each other versus like the cutthroat I think like
Yeah.
stigma that there is in a lot of industries, like especially this one where it's a lot of
it's doggy
competition.
dog.
There's
it's
enough
doggy dog.
clients to go around.
Oh,
There is,
yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
People don't like to think that there is.
Divorce
But
rates are
there is.
high. Jokes.
I
mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
It's
But
gonna
also,
happen again.
like, there's enough people getting married. There's enough people starting families.
Everyone's
Yeah, I
getting
mean,
older.
everyone's getting
Everyone's
older.
getting
There's going to
older,
be
things
more
are
and more
changing, like,
weddings.
things are
And what's crazy
changing.
is kids are born and then they get older.
Isn't that
It's
crazy?
wild.
Married.
Oh, is that how it happened?
Yeah.
Did you
How
know?
are babies made? I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I
Let's
heard
start
that
from
it's
there.
There's that big dog
Yeah.
like stigma, like mentality that a lot of industries have, and I think we need to all break out of that. Is like
Yeah.
let's teach each other to grow each other.
And I've heard I've said this to you multiple times, and I heard it from who I've mentioned to you, Jacob Owens, like one of my favorite guys
Yeah.
ever in the
No,
film
he's
world.
he's crazy.
He's so awesome. Like he has like 9 studios, blah blah blah. But he's like, if you're scared to share how you got somewhere or share the information of where you got, then you're more fearful of someone being better than you are growing with them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's like, okay, I'm sharing everything because I ain't scared anymore.
Well,
Like,
right.
this is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
And
Well,
let's
everyone's
all
gonna
grow.
have like you said, like find your ideal client. We're all gonna have our different ideal clients. Like,
Absolutely.
there's so many different clients, so many different mentalities. Like let's help each other
Find
One,
those people.
grow.
Yeah.
A prime example is you two. Like, if
Yeah.
you get booked for an elopement, it's like, no, but you're gonna love Sarah.
That
'Cause you
happens
have
constantly.
a partnership, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
hey, can you shoot my big wedding? Well, no, you're gonna love her though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if we just teamed up
Yeah.
instead of like competing,
Yeah,
it would
yeah.
be such an easier job
Yeah.
because we would
Right.
all just be feeding each other all
And
the
social
time.
media makes that so hard, and that's why it's like,
I wish there was a punch, like instead of
Yeah.
a like or like.
shut the heck
A
up.
downline,
No.
dude. I've wanted
Thumbs
that
down?
for-
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And especially when it comes to like the community part of it, like people try to make it seem like they're starting, they want to start community, but
No.
a lot of it is competition, and it
Or to
comes a
prove how much
lot.
better they are.
Oh, absolutely, and just the follower count, like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Oh,
It
I have a story
doesn't
about that.
matter.
Oh gosh.
There's a lot of story. Yeah, tell us, please.
So I booked a shoot. I won't say who it is, with a photographer who has
know.
a very large following. And
I'll guess after the show.
Okay. I'll tell you who it is after.
Yeah.
I
You
just
talk.
don't want to,
He wants to guess.
Yeah.
But it was a terrible client experience. Awful. I had to initiate all the communication. It was
Is it
like
male or female?
female.
Shooter?
Yes.
Okay, I might be off then.
And the like I did all the work basically to make this shoot happen. And you could argue like it for her it was out of town. She's from a different state, and so she came here. But like still like
Don't
that's not
care.
really
No.
my job.
Yeah.
And then the actual shoot experience, it was actually her husband who was like more social and like interactive and like
And he's not the photographer.
and he's like her assistant.
So like the manager.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was weird. And like, I just was like, I walked away and I'm actually glad for it because I realized it's like I knew it, but I fully grasped and realized like follower count means nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
No.
It doesn't mean you know how to run your business. It doesn't mean you give a good client experience. And this is a person who talks about giving a good client experience and communicating
Like
and
it's her
over
thing.
communicating and like,
Then didn't do it.
and I was like,
Excuse
They're
me?
overcompensating on their socials.
So-
Well, that and also
like guys
they
with trucks, you know?
exactly.
I just made
There's
a
a
comment about that
reason.
yesterday.
It turns into them being
Sorry about your penis.
buddy. you know,
Literally. Exactly.
buddy.
I mean, I live in Enumclaw. We both live in
Yeah.
Enumclaw. We see that
Yep.
a lot.
yeah.
We're neighbors. Did
We're
you guys
neighbors.
know that?
No.
Yeah.
No
Where do you
way.
guys live
Special
at?
little.
I'm out there a lot.
Fun little thing.
I go to Cedars and ski in to play.
Do you know where the
pools.
skate park
Cedars.
is?
Yeah.
We're like
By
a
the
block
hospital?
away from the
No
ski
way.
So
park. skate park.
I mean, we could both see it from our house.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
My
just lives
sister's
like.
on Mount Peak Street.
Yeah. Well, I did their family.
Oh, that's
photos.
right. So
That's
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
doing their
Yeah.
photos next month again. With their little baby.
Everly.
She's so cute. Little baby.
Anytime Becca's in Maple Valley, I'm like, stay
Bring me
there.
your baby.
Well, yeah,
Right
no,
now.
like I drove us out to Fred Meyer one time, and then we
was like, hey, my
yeah,
my
I think that's
sister's
my
at my
sister in
parents'.
front of us. Follow her, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Take
I
me
know
to
the
baby.
baby's in that car. I must
Give me the
see her.
baby. Oh, she's so cute.
That's so
Oh.
great.
She's the best. But yeah, it's very much they turn into influencers when they have a lot
Yes.
of and there's like brand deals with like
And it like goes to
unscripted
their
posing
head,
app
and
Yes.
it's like
and Honeybook and all the things and like
I don't wanna talk about
realistically-
Honeybook.
I don't want to talk about Honeybook.
10,000 influencers under them. Like,
Yeah.
Right. And it's just yeah, they're being paid to say things whether they believe it truly or not, and they're honestly like they're trying to give photography advice and it's not helpful.
oh
and
man, I've seen a couple
and, like,
photographers coming out with stuff. and
there's
I'm like,
some influencery photographers that have podcasts that aren't helpful and
don't talk
a
about
lot
us like that.
it's
not
you
on
guys.
the show,
It's
Jess. Come
you.
on.
Save it for after.
You guys are photographers. It's fine. But yeah, they'll like be putting out this content that's like teaching people completely
Oh.
the wrong things or like things that are just not like they don't
Efficient
matter.
at all either. Like,
No.
I
Yeah.
saw one that she has a decent following. I've shot with her a couple times, and I'm like, wait, why didn't you just use Photoshop's AI for that? Like you
Oh,
did that
okay,
for
yeah, I
every
know.
single photo, and it's like, holy
You-
shit.
you
that's like
told me about that,
50
yeah. I
minutes
think-
of photo.
Was this a recent thing that you're seeing? Because I saw a
Yeah.
recent thing, and it's like there's cars in the background. Why are we shooting
Hers-
like all family photos? There's
It was
cars.
nature and like flat. She wanted to get rid of some things, and then like was adjusting grass and stuff. And I'm like, you did that with the healing brush?
Right. Like that could have been
What?
Yeah.
easier.
Like,
And like the healing brush will do things that you need it to.
yeah, but if you're willing to use 150 strokes,
Yeah.
Right.
like
you have to
what
do
are
it
you
tiny.
doing?
Like
Yeah.
if it's big stuff, just
Yeah.
there's better ways
Yeah.
to do it.
Mask,
But yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
gone.
Or
Like,
they
come
just
on.
don't fix it at all, and then the photo's crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome
So-
to the industry.
Yep. Here we are.
Welcome to
We
the
could talk about
industry.
this for
We
9
could
years.
literally go on and on.
Well, we're in hour 5
Oh, wow.
Look at us.
Last question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Favorite movie and or show?
right now. Go.
Okay. Show The Office.
Duh.
Done.
Great show.
show probably Psych.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that. Like, what do you
should
like
watch
about
it.
it?
It's just silly. Like, do you know the premise at all?
Not too much. Like I've heard, like
Okay.
I've seen like
It's good.
commercials, like
It's
when I
a
used to watch
guy
TV and stuff.
who basically is a fake psychic detective.
Oh,
He's
okay, yeah,
actually
yeah,
just
yeah.
a good detective, but he pretends he's psychic, and it's there's
Psych.
shenanigans
Psych.
and
Okay,
like
yeah, that
it's
makes
great.
sense.
It's like if Sherlock Holmes used the facts that he saw before everyone else.
What
to
streaming
play into
service
his
is it on?
psyche.
It's on Amazon Prime,
Okay, cool.
and it's like there's tons of like 80s references.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just great.
Okay.
It's great. Movie. I thought
had
about this
two.
a lot. I have two. Count of Monte Cristo
Okay.
is a favorite
Never
for
seen
me.
it.
It's really
What year
good.
did it come out?
I don't know, but it's older and it's
Yeah.
like the perfect revenge story. It's great.
It is a great movie.
And A Knight's Tale.
Ooh.
Also never seen it.
Wow.
Heath Ledger.
I did not expect
I
that.
It's
love Heath
fantastic.
Ledger, but
Ooh,
I've
Heath
never-
Ledger.
Okay.
Heath
On the other
Ledger-
end, one of my favorite movies is also Heath Ledger, and
What is it?
Is it Dark Knight?
no.
How to
10
Lose-
Things I Hate About
I
You.
10
knew
Things I
it.
Hate About
I
You.
knew
Yeah.
you were
Sounds
going to
like-
say
Oh,
that.
that's a good
That's a great
movie.
movie.
That's a good movie.
Okay, but the other one, like my true, it's one of my true favorite movies. Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
That's
Oh, okay.
Alex's favorite
That is
movie.
That is my favorite
all-time
Ben
That's so
Stiller
funny.
movie
ever. He's fantastic.
Ever.
Yeah.
And that movie is just beautiful, and it's just
an
like fun to
adult
watch.
Coming of age.
It
Yes,
is.
it's
Like, so
fantastic.
It
unheard
is.
of.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love that movie. But
You have
yeah.
to watch it.
Okay.
Those are from like also Benchwarmers. I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
it.
Benchwarmer. That's a great movie.
It's
I
not a
love
sword.
Benchwarmers.
Yeah. It's not a sword. Don't chop at it. You're still
We're having
out.
macaroni tonight. Yes.
There must be steroids in
Macaroni.
macaroni.
You're still out. You're still.
Yeah, you're still fat.
Oh, it's so good.
I love that movie.
Same.
All right. So for everyone out there, where can people find you?
At Jesse Finch Photography on Instagram.
We'll link it right there. We'll put
Yeah.
it
And then my website is just Jesse Finch Photo. Easy
Cool,
to
cool, cool.
remember.
Cool.
Easy.
Sarah?
My Instagram is Sarah K. Bagby. And my website is sarahbagbyphoto.com.
I bet if you just type in like best in the West, it might just pop up.
Probably not.
Yeah. Probably
Maybe
not.
her because she does Google stuff. I
Well,
don't.
I have Google Ads, so I'm
There you go,
cheating,
right
but
there.
it's fine.
It's
not
Using
cheating.
the tools in front of you.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're using your tools
Utilizing
around you.
things.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
skipping that. So
Well, thank you guys for coming on.
yeah.
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us. Yeah,
having
this
you
is
guys
great.
on. Very insightful.
Fun, easy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Like I said, you just get used to it.
Yeah.
The headphones.
This
you,
is
you hearing
Sarah
yourself.
knows I'm
like
the
it's-
only one that doesn't know what's happening in my ears, but it's okay.
That's fine.
I got used to it.
Yeah,
But
this is a no
thank
big
you
deal.
guys for coming on. This was a great episode. Episode 23?
23.
23.
Fantastic.
All right.
As always, everyone, stay weird.
Stay weird.
We're the artistic. Weirdly, we're the artistic.
Damn, that's weird.